Okay, that seems to be going well. Hey. um, how can you guys hear me compared to the music? Is the music too loud? Because that happens a lot. Also have to sit up the whole time because I gotta make sure you guys can hear me. Alright, cool. I think it's the first time that just kind of went well. Alright, cool. 9 viewers. That's more than I thought. Considering it's the middle of the day, but it is finals week, so a lot of people probably are just like at home studying or something and are using this as an excuse. Welcome to mobile Twitch. I mean, if you can hear me wherever the hell you are, that's cool. Alrighty. I guess I'll do this history thing first so that people who end up watching this VOD on YouTube can just watch that and be done with it. Well, I think the best way I can describe it, how I'm going to do this, is I'm just going to kind of run through things pretty quick. Since this is like a long time coming, and every time I try to think really hard about it, I like overthink it and end up thinking it's going to be like 3 hours of me saying stuff. So I think I'm just going to streamline what happened and kind of go from there. I wish I had like a drawing app thing so I could like make a timeline. Maybe there is one of those, because I feel like a visual will be super helpful. Here, let me see. Drawing pad. Like, browser. Dope. Alright, cool. Um, okay, so here's what we were gonna do. Yeah, this is basically browser MS Paint, so this will be nice. Um, okay, so I guess try to remember. Oh god, that's probably not the best size. Let's make it a little bit smaller. There we go. All right, so here is our really awful looking timeline. Is how we're gonna start. So over here, this is man. I wish I could add text to it too, so it doesn't take up the entire thing. Oh man, I can't even turn it sideways. Like, that's not gonna help me. Oh man, those are all great answers, or great ideas. Henry, I don't know. We're gonna see. I don't think anyone would sub to me though. Alright, so, holy shit. This is way more difficult than I need it to be. No, I need those. Fuck. There's like... what does this one do again? I don't know. I'd use my Prime sub. I have to stream so much more to make that even, like, possible. Oh my god, this is so terrible. Alright, start. This is where everything started. This is 20... Holy shit, this is bad. Maybe MS Paint was the right answer. 2014. I feel like I'm too far in. I feel like I'm way too far in to go back now. So this is how we're doing it. I'm sorry. Alright, there's the end. So this is, holy shit, that looks awful right there. Let's go with 20, oh god, 17. Sure, that looks readable. Okay. So this is how we're gonna approach this situation. This is when I joined the scene over here on the left, and then this is where we are now on the right. So that's just kind of how it's gonna have to go down. So this is gonna be like every major event that happened, I guess. So 2014, my first tournament was called Battleland, and a little bit of backstory. I didn't actually care at all, like, too much about being competitive in Smash before this tournament. I was playing a lot with Flashing Fire. We were playing PM, because that was the only game that we were playing really in the state that we were playing at the time. So I was playing Flashing Fire a lot in Jay-Z, because me and Jay-Z we were like friends who hung out at Flaffy's dorm. So Flaffy was like, hey, let's play, this Smash game, and of course we're gonna say yes. And Jay-Z was pretty good. Jay-Z was about as good as Flaffy was, and then I was pretty terrible. I had no idea what I was doing. So we definitely played a lot, probably somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2 or 3 hours a day at the time. Like, we were playing a lot of games. Everyone in the dorm was playing, but overall the best 2 players were Flaffy and Jay-Z, and then there's like a group of like 3 other people and myself that were like right under. So that's kind of where we were at on that. And in this January, it was January, and Flaffy was like, yeah, I'm trying to find a ride to this tournament in Tulsa. And then I owned a minivan at the time, and he said that there was a bunch of people trying to carpool. And I said, oh, okay, well, my family lives in Tulsa. I could, drive out to see my family. It's not going to be a huge deal, and then I can just take people to this tournament, see my family for a little bit, come back to the tournament, just kind of hang out, hang around, see what it was like, because I was curious. Like, what are these tournaments like? So I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then everyone on the carpool except for Flaffy and Jay-Z bailed because the price of gas for my car was too much. Because back then, I think gas was like close to $3 a gallon, and I needed like $10 a person to make the round trip worth it. Because it cost like $60 to fill up my tank, and we took a full tank to go to Tulsa and back, which was terrible. Like, this minivan was from 2006, had terrible gas mileage. So everyone bailed and ended up going on a different car where they didn't have to pay gas money, which is kind of funny in hindsight. So the thing was like Irish and Siege, and like at the time, Irish, Siege, and a few others just didn't have like that much expendable income to be like being like, oh well, you know, this much for the tournament, this much for food, this much for gas. Like it was just a better deal for them not to go. So Flappy's like, yeah, it's gonna be us. And I was like, I really don't give a shit at this point. My parents actually were probably gonna end up paying for my gas anyways. So I drove out there, went to the tournament in the morning, and they had Brawl, Melee, and PM, and I'd only been playing PM for like the last couple months, so I was like, I don't really know if I want to enter. And I watch people play, hang out, play some friendlies, and I was like, okay, you know what? I kind of want to enter. So I went ahead and paid for PM. It was the last event. Went and saw my family, came back, hung out a bit, and just kind of was there, hanging out, doing stuff, and then try to play some friendlies. I was getting like trunched by most people. Like I was like, oh man, I'm definitely not that good at this game. And then tournament time finally happened. I played my round one. I had a really close game one with Tinto, and there was supposed to be a stream, so it was on stream. A really close game one with Tinto's Toon Link. And I was like, okay, I got this, you know, maybe this isn't too bad. Because I remember Tinto was supposed to be pretty good. And Tinto 4-stocked me game 2. I was like, okay, that was rough. And then was like, alright, well, it wasn't too bad. And I went to Flappy, I was like, you know, that wasn't too bad, right? And then he goes, well, Tinto doesn't play Toon Link, so... And I was like, oh god. I just got beat by a guy who doesn't, with a character doesn't even play. So that was definitely unfortunate stuff. So after that, I played S'mores, who actually still comes to some Melee events in OKC, if you met him. I hadn't seen S'mores in years, by the way. He started coming to stuff again last year. I did not see him between 2014 and 2016. He disappeared. And he started coming back to events last year. So every now and then he'll show up to something when he's got some free time. He's a cool dude. He plays Fox. But he played Mario. I played Mario in PM. He played Mario in PM. He was also a Doc main from Melee, and he showed me some cool tricks. And for the longest time, I called it the S'mores combo, because he taught me this. Mario's down tilt was so broken that if you down tilted someone and they DI'd in, you got like 15 more down tilts, and they couldn't do anything. And if they DI'd out, they got hit by F smash. So down tilt F smash, I called it the S'mores combo, because it was just like unbeatable. It was a guarantee, almost a true confirm, and it was really funny. Yeah, super busted. It was so dumb. It was such a dumb combo. But yeah, that was the S'mores combo. I learned the S'mores combo, and had a good time. But he also 2-0'd me. Like, I didn't win a single game. I think I won like 3 friendlies out of like 15, 20 friendlies I played. And after the tournament, we're driving home. Actually, Chuck showed up for Brawl, and he played PM Ivysaur, and he won the tournament, and he beat Carl, Dual Cats. So yeah, Chuck Nasty Dual Cats played in grand finals of a tournament. Fun fact. For those of you that know them from Melee and Smash 4, yeah, those guys actually played each other in a tournament. It was weird. But then Chuck won. And all he did was throw Carl off stage and back arrow him. It was so funny. But yeah, so that was Brattleland, basically. And then we were driving home after that tournament, and I was just kind of like thinking about what happened that day. I was like, you know, I got really, really destroyed today. And then, you know, Flappy kind of looked at me all worried, and he's like, yeah, it happens. And I was like, yeah. I kind of looked at him again, and I'm like, I don't really want to get, like, destroyed that badly. I gotta practice more. And he was like, eyes lit up, and he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gonna, like, practice and stuff. This game's fun. Like, I'm definitely gonna play more. And he was like, oh, dang. Like, super excited. What was it? He was just got like super duper excited that I was gonna start taking, you know, just Smash seriously. And after that, I watched the documentary, and it was like, all right, cool, this is actually really entertaining and awesome. And I definitely thought it was like fun to be in, and documentary made me like super excited to play. So I was like, yes, this is cool. This is like a great thing. with like a bunch of like just like history. And then I got more in tune with the scene. I met like Irish and Zeege and this is a whole bunch of people, the SCG crew. And then at the beginning, it was just like I was just a random dude who went to tournaments. I didn't really help too often. Like every now and then, once I figured out how brackets worked and like challenge worked, I was like, yeah, let's just I like would help call matches, but I didn't really care about TOing. I just wanted to play. And my second tournament was in February, and there was commentary for a stream, which I don't even know if the VODs are still up anywhere. I don't think they are. I think the Xen got deleted. But there was a point where that's where I met Paimon. Where what was it? There's just a point at the tournament where there was only one commentator, and then I was like, yeah, let's go commentate, I guess. That sounds like fun. And I had a blast doing that. And I was like, dude, I want to commentate a lot. And that was like my goal was to commentate a ton because I had a really good time doing that. So Irish was like, all right, this is gonna be our set commentator guy for Oklahoma, and like he tried to get me commentary slots for like other events and stuff out of state, and he tried. He definitely spent a lot of time just tweeting at people, like literally adding people and being like, hey, give this guy some commentary time, and it was just like, well, that's I was gonna be really surprised if it worked, but I like appreciated the effort. Whenever people do that, it always like weirds me out. So having that done for me on my behalf also weirded me out. But it was coming from a good place. It was funny. So yeah, that's how that went down, and then tried to do the commentary thing. And at that point, everyone was like, "Yeah, we're gonna make sure Prion does the commentary thing." And then the rest of 2014 was like not that huge for me. OKI happened, which was like the first big Oklahoma tournament in a while. That was organized by Irish, and it was cool. It had PM Melee Brawl, but only PM was the one that really mattered. It had like 70 entrants, Melee had like 20 something, and Brawl had like 9. They did like a 9-man round robin. Mewtwo King was there, so we had to meet, like, it was the first time meeting like top players, Mewtwo King, Southland Oracle. This is after they got top 8 finishes at Apex for PM too, so it was like, oh, these guys are like important and stuff, so I got to meet those guys for the first time. And it was like, I was kind of like, oh man, I don't really know what to deal with these guys, And I was pretty, shy's not the word. Meek. I'm gonna call myself meek. I was like a meek person. Like wasn't really like into making conflict. Didn't like make big challenges or anything. Wasn't like, oh man, I'm super good, money match or anything like that. And at the same time, it was like I didn't really talk to very many people. It took me a while to warm up to some of the people in the community, because a lot of the people in the community were really different from the people I'd hung out with my whole life. So it was interesting. I got to meet a ton of different people because I joined the community, and people I probably never interacted with ever in my everyday life. So I started adjusting to that. That summer I went to Korea, hung out with the Korean Smash scene, which was super dope. Shoutouts to Ray and all those guys. They have a little documentary actually on YouTube you can watch. It's super cool. Those guys are awesome. Came back. Trying to remember if I did any other tournaments that summer. Oh, I went to Low Tier City 2. I got housed with Infinity. I hung out with Mewtwo King there and West Balls. They were being housed with us and like the SoCal PM players. Those guys are all weird as fuck. But, good people at heart. That was when my whole thing with West Balls started, where I was just like, I don't really like West Balls. Because he was so weird. He's so weird, and it was really uncomfortable to talk to him the entire time I was there. He was like creeping me out and just like weirding me out with stupid shit. Like I was just like doing nothing. I was literally doing nothing. I was just kind of like chilling in the house or in the apartment. It was the tiniest apartment. There's no room for all of us. Watching people play PM. And then fucking West Balls just kind of turns to me and he goes, "How does it feel to be a shitter playing a shit game?" And at the time, by then I've been working on N64. I've been playing N64 for a while. Like Low Tier City was gonna be my last tournament not playing N64, and I was gonna go all in for N64. I looked at him like, what? He goes, yeah, PM's a shit game, and just kind of looked at him. I was like, dude, I play N64. And he looks at me and goes, oh, I'm just kidding. And then he smiled like that weird goofy West Ball smile, and he like turned away, and I was like, that was super uncomfortable. So I over the West Bowls thing eventually, but like, there are other times about West Bowls that are also like just as awkward. So I'm just like, I don't. There was like 2 years probably. I was like, I really don't ever want to talk to West Bowls again. But yeah, Low Tier City was cool. It's the first time I really talked to a lot of bigger name PM guys who like all remembered me because I walked around Low Tier City 2 with a binder with information sheets. And I had everyone fill them out so that I could give them to the stream so that they would have info on all the players. That worked out really well. I got like a ton of people's information and I alphabetized it and everything. So it worked out. And then Bwet was like, holy shit, you're a genius. And that was the first time Bwet and I really talked. And he was like, dang, this guy's onto something. So I helped from an organizational standpoint there, but I never got any commentary time. Much to the dismay of Irish trying super hard and tweeting a ton for me on my behalf, but it was whatever. I was pretty new to the scene. I was like 6 months in. Low Tier City was fun. We didn't stay for PM Top 8, like all of it at least, because we had to drive home and I had school soon, so I was like, I don't want to deal with this. Trying to think what else we had. So then we had that stuff going on. I don't think much happened after that. It was fall of 2014. Super Bit Wars 3 happened. Oh yeah, okay. Super Bit Wars 3. And that's where I got really thrown into politics of just running tournaments. So I was supposed to be a set commentator, and I was dressed pretty nice, and we were supposed to be at this venue in the middle of nowhere that was trying to be a gaming lounge. And I got there pretty early, and I had like Royce, if any of you guys remember Royce, shout out to Royce, and Flaffy with me. Yeah, that sounds right, Royce and Flaffy. Yeah, we all lived in the same apartment complex, so it's pretty easy to track them down. So I think we all drove down there in my car. And, oh yeah, no, I have a great story about this tournament, actually. So yes, okay, so we get there, Irish isn't there, and then Ricky from HXC has no idea who we are. So he's just kind of explaining that, hey, they're having some issues and they're trying to figure it out, and we gotta wait for Irish. So we're just sitting out there waiting for Irish, and Irish gets there like 2 hours later than Ricky thought he was gonna be there. So we've pretty much been outside for like 90 minutes, chilling. It's really awkward. And Irish gets in, he's like really upset because like the power keeps going out, and they like try to plug in all the TVs, and the power keeps like oversurging because the circuit protector, like the breakers were all like not good. I don't know electricity stuff. Like I'm not an electrician at all, but there were like some stuff with some breakers, and the power kept going out, and like breakers being flipped or something, and it was just like bad. It was a really bad scenario, and the venue was too hot. And we're just like, what the fuck? And there's like 40 of us trying to play, and there's like 3 events for Smash and like other events for other games, and we're just trying to get that all done. So we get in there, and this is kind of like the first time I had to deal with like politics, because Irish was mad because Ricky like didn't do things the way he wanted, and Ricky was mad because Irish didn't show up on time at all. At least what Ricky thought was gonna be on time. I'm not really sure where the communication was between the two. So it's just like really awkward, and we finally got everything rolling. And then poor Bwet came with Sethlon, and Bwet was streaming. Poor Bwet got in there, it was hot, it was unbearable, he had to sit at the computer all day to stream, he had to bring all this equipment with him, and he hadn't eaten all day, and there was a point where I looked at him, I was planning on getting some food, and I was like, hey, Bwet, do you need something to eat? And like his eyes lit up, and he's like, yes, please. Please, for the love of God, save me. And I was like, okay, yeah, no, I'll get you some food, dude, that's fine. And I went to go get him food. And also, for the friendship there, like, I was the guy who got him food when he needed it. And it was kind of at this point when a lot of people were starting to complain about how Irish ran to some events. And it was kind of like, I was kind of in an awkward position. Because, trying to think how to word this. I was helping with a lot of the events, and when I say helping, I mean I would show up, and I wouldn't be playing because I was an N64 player, and there wouldn't be N64, so I'd just be hanging out with people. I would like the scene, I like the community, you guys have seen me do that at tournaments all the time. So I was kind of hanging out and having a good time, and I like kind of still played some PM and Melee on the side just to play them, and like Smash 4 too, like I just kind of like step in, play for a little bit and leave. I wouldn't enter anything. It'd just be like playing some friendlies maybe. So I'd help run the brackets, and Irish would enter every event at each event that he was also running. So that was just really terrible. Like, he tried to enter melee doubles with a good melee player while entering PM doubles with Siege, while entering melee PM singles and Smash 4 singles for a while. So it was something else. Like, I dropped something. Sorry. But yeah, he'd enter like a ton of events and try to just enter everything, and like he expected to do well in a lot of the events and was like trying to actually win and do well too while running these tournaments. So everything just got slowed down a lot. And then there were some issues with like how he seeded stuff, which I understand that. Because there was like some seeding issues with just everyone complaining like, why am I constantly seated below this guy? Why am I seated below Irish? Because Irish thought he was better than that person, so he'd seat himself above them, and he'd give himself like a good seed. Oh yeah, Kilo remembers. Kilo was one of the ones who was mad most of the time. Because I think it took like, Kilo had to beat Irish like 4 or 5 times back to back for Irish to finally seat Kilo above him. Like, it was it was bad. Yeah, no, exactly. If you beat Irish the week before, he'd seed it so he played you again, and then he'd lose, and he'd keep doing that, and he'd always have the higher seed. It was awkward. It was it was funny. So yeah. So things weren't going well, and then like the Texas players were starting to get really upset with him too. Which I didn't know that much yet. Cause here's oh man, so this is kind of what happens after. I went. Yeah, so this is. Oh wow, yeah. No, this is the timeline, isn't it? Huh? Sorry, I'm just remembering how things worked out now. So, the next thing that happened was Sorry, I'm trying to remember exactly, because now this is where it's getting all kinds of muddled. Alright, now I remember. Okay, so Super Pit Wars 3 happens. We don't really have anything big. We have like this charity event thing that Irish runs. That was fine. It ran okay. There's Irish accidentally donated the doubles money to charity. Yeah, that's basically the best way to describe it, was Irish accidentally, because when he was trying to get the money split, because Irish want to handle all the money that was going through want to handle all the money that was going through the Smash side of the event, which is another thing that Irish was always about, was he always wanted to track the money because he didn't trust, I guess, other people to handle it. I don't know. He just wanted to make sure that he had all the money so that he wasn't, at fault. He wanted to make sure that he had it, he was going to cover it, like where the money was missing, whatever. It was on him. So that's how that went down. And it was like, alright, cool. So, he accidentally donated the doubles pot when they were splitting up money with the guy who was running the charity event, and he accidentally had the doubles pot to it. And there was like a little bit of the doubles pot left over at the end. And this is actually the first time Jitty won like a reasonably sized tournament, because Jitty got first in doubles with Jay-Z, and he was like, "What? Are you serious?" And then like Jay-Z won singles, so Jay-Z didn't care. He still had all his money. He also didn't even care about the money. That was the best part about Jay-Z. He just played to play, but he's like Dill actually. Jay-Z and Dill are very similar. But yeah, holy shit, was it funny. Because, like, Judy was like, it's fine. It's not a huge deal. Whatever. There's like $40 left or something. So, like, he got $20. Like, he still made money, but he was like, he could have made more. He could have made like 80 or something. Or 60, I don't remember. It was a significant amount more. And it was pretty entertaining to see how that worked out. And everyone was a good sport about it. That's just a funny story there. Um, what else happened after that? Nothing really happened after that. Like that part of the year was pretty much dead. We had like the Salty Run Back 1, which was kind of fun because Smash Forward come out. That's actually a really important thing. Smash Forward came out in December of like 2014, and that was pretty important because that started really affecting the turnout for PM, as well as the new patch of PM. PM 3.5 happened, which happened in like November, so this is all after these events. So it was pretty big time for change, and that's why tournaments, I think, like our turnouts weren't super great, except for the Salty Runback. We had a really good turnout for that event. And just really interesting things happened. So I believe Jay-Z won the tournament. Yes. That was 2014? Yeah, 2014. Jay-Z won. And Jordan got like third, taking out Strong Bad and stuff. Oh, Cephalon won. Cephalon won the tournament, sorry. But Jay-Z got like second to Cephalon. Jordan took out Strong Bad and Bobby Frizz. And it was like, okay, cool stuff happened for PM, right? 3.5. Jordan's still playing Kirby. Everything's the same. Everything's fine, right? Not really, because going into 2015, things started having a huge change. So 2015 happens. So like the important parts of 2014 are actually they aren't really important parts. It's like the important part of 2015. I guess the turning point is, you know, Smash. That's just super gross. I have to change this. Smash 4. Smash 4 happens, and then over here is 2015. So that was a big thing. That was a whole new market of players, a whole new influx of players. And I actually just didn't even mess with Smash 4 beyond when I had my advanced copy and was playing it. I played the Japanese version of 3DS for a while before it came, for the month that it came out, before it came out. Ground out some stuff. Played a couple tournaments, did fairly decent. Yeah, pretty much was only listening to like former Brawl players and then like Hona, so it was pretty decent on launch as well. So that's kind of how that happened. I don't know who you are, Anonymous Zitat. I would probably have asked this like 40 times, but I don't remember. 2015 starts. And a big thing that happened at the beginning of 2015 was there was a tournament in that January called Hitstun. And that was a tournament that I wanted to go to because it was an N64 only event in Dallas. And I was in Norman, 3 hours from Dallas. Wasn't too bad. So yeah, that's doable. So I went ahead and drove out to Dallas by myself, fun fact, because no one wanted to come with me. No one wanted to go to the event with me, which is disappointing, but whatever. I went out by myself, and that's when I really met JV and Neptune, because JV and Neptune had been on the rise, I guess, and I had been kind of commentating for a while, but nothing huge yet. I was commentating some smaller stuff. So I went out there, I entered, I got bodied. I think I won one round. I ended up losing to like Infinity. No, I didn't lose Infinity. I got outplaced by like Infinity or something. I don't know. It was a small turnout. It wasn't a great event. Like, oh no, actually, it was a great event. It was a small turnout. I didn't do too great. And then I was like, all right, cool, whatever. And then eventually I like talked to JV and I was like, hey, you know, I'm Rice. 'Cause me and them had talked a little bit on Twitter and stuff. And then talked to Neptune for a while. And Neptune, if you've met them, they're both very excitable people. Neptune was like, we need to get you on the mic. We need to get you on the mic. And I was like, yeah, if you guys got time, that'd be great. Like, I'd love to do that. And then, well, that tournament, JV got into Grand Finals. He got into Winners Finals and Grands, actually. He won Winners Side So I was like, oh, okay, well, JV's busy. And then Neptune comes over and grabs me and he's like, dude, come on, commentary time. I was like, yeah, for sure. So I started commentating, and me and Neptune commentated the winners finals and finals grands. It was super fun, and he had a blast, I had a blast, JV had a blast talking to me after the fact. It was also the day I met Umbreon. Me and him had a blast hanging out too. Like, I was just hanging out with all these guys who were like really important. No, this is before Umbreon. Umbreon was the next tournament. Never mind. Yeah, no, I was hanging out with those guys, and yeah, so that's super fun. JV is not Jordan. JV is Justin Varkes, aka the commentator that was formerly T-Lock. He lives in Texas. He's formerly Eternal Locator commentator. So we all hung out. We had a great time. I went home, and then I was like, "All right, dope. We're done." You know, that was a fun trip. And they're like, "We're doing it again in March," and I was like, "Cool. I'll try to be there." And the semester before, I decided I was going to get a Smash Club running at OU because people kept asking me to run a tournament, but I didn't want to run a tournament, like, because I didn't have access to any venues. So it was just like, alright, well, I have a university, I guess. I can run a tournament there. So I got the paperwork done, and that January I started running my first tournament series, which is Senior Smash Brothers. Shouts to Flaffy for the name. So yeah, so Sooner Smash started in the January of 2015, alongside with my notorious rise in my commentary career. But we had Melee PM. We didn't have Smash 4 that first year because it was going to be on the same night, because it was the only night we'd get to work for all the officers, which is Tuesdays. Same night as the original Sonic Storm, which is also on Tuesdays. So we're just like, yeah, we're still not going to do anything about it. We're just going to let things roll. And then Irish messaged me as soon as I kind of had all this done and official and made my first event page. And was like, wait, why are you running another weekly? And then I explained other people wanted another weekly, and it kind of just worked out because it was like in the middle of the week. It was going to mostly be just kids who go to OU or live in Norman. It wasn't going to be a big deal, and it was just going to be mostly for the fact that people wanted another weekly. And a lot of the reason people wanted another weekly was because of how I was running the first one, but I didn't tell them that. I didn't want to be rude. I was like, yeah, people just wanted multiple weeklies, and I had the ability to, so I made one. He was like, alright, I guess that's fine. And it was like, not... and he was entirely not happy about it, but it was whatever. So yeah. Afterwards... I started running those, and those were super successful. I even charged a venue fee back then, which is funny. It was like $5 for non-students, $3 if you brought a setup and weren't a student. So, I was like, alright, cool. I went ahead and started charging a venue fee for non-students. I made like a ton of money on that to get ready for an event I wanted to run. I wanted to run a regional, which was Choose Your Character. And I was like, alright, cool, we got all this stuff done. And then the month before Choose Your Character, Aftershock 2015 happened? Was that Aftershock 2015? Yeah, that was. Aftershock 2015 happened. And that was probably one of my bigger... At the time, that was like the biggest event I'd commentated. I commentated a lot at that event. And I commentated with good commentators, and like... It was a really big PM event, and this is back when I was still doing PM stuff. And this is kind of when PM communities outside of like the South started to get to know me. So like I was known in like Chicago area, I was known in SoCal, I was known on East Coast stuff like Florida. I just met a bunch of people from all over the place. They all liked my commentary, they all liked me as a person, and we all hung out and we had a good time. And that's kind of when I started becoming more known. But it was only in the PM side. I really didn't care too much about doing the Melee Smash 4 stuff at the time because it wasn't that big yet. I mean, in Oklahoma it wasn't that big. I wasn't going to be able to do much with it. You know, I felt limited in those areas. Even though I preferred playing Melee over PM at the time, because I really just didn't play PM anymore. I still was an N64 player ultimately, and that was like a goal I had for a while, was to get into the N64 side of things, but, you know, stuff kind of went forward there. I got like really big popularity boost, and then started becoming like the respected. This is the guy we talked to about Oklahoma PM. At least like not fully, but that was like the shift it was making, because like Irish made it out to that event, but Irish was like more focused on playing, and I was more focused on networking because I didn't enter. I was just there to hang out and commentate. So I did all that, and the networking thing really worked out in my favor, which was pretty dope. Because then people like talked to me more. I'd start talking to like good PM players on the regular. And this is kind of like where things and me and the PM scene got weird. So that summer, I was in Tulsa, and I really didn't do too much. I like went to some events. There wasn't a lot to do in the summer, if I remember correctly. Oh, Choose Your Character did happen, and okay, I'm gonna real talk it because all the parties involved really aren't gonna be involved ever again. So Choose Your Character happened. T-Lock came to stream it because I promised to pay, and I hung out with them. That's when was doing stuff with them. So JV Neptune, Wet, Sethlon, they came. Tournament ran really long. It was like behind schedule a lot for my standards. We still got out of there, I think, by like 11. Did not enjoy how it was ran personally. Looking back, I think I did a really terrible job overall. There were some unforeseen circumstances, but now those things wouldn't happen because I would have had backup plans and been able to like switch. So I definitely have gotten a lot better as a TO. That was like my first big-ish event. It was not even that huge though. I had like 40-something entrants for PM, like 30 for Melee. I had like maybe like 70 people total go through. And then, so that was the whole thing that I was doing. Went well, and then I was talking to Bwet about future events, and Bwet told me he will do any event that I do, but he does not want to do any event that Irish does. And I was like, oh, and he said that Cerebate Wars 3 was such a big disaster, and was so stressful that he just does not want to deal with Irish because he doesn't like how he runs things. And I said, okay, well, I'm probably not going to collab with him on anything, but I understand, like, where you're coming from. So he just wanted to give me the heads up. And then Sethlon told me he didn't want to go to any more Irish's tournaments. And I was like, oh, I see. Like, they just kind of, like, laid it on me, and I was like, okay, that's fair. I'll let you guys know in the future, I guess. Then we kind of, like, led into the summer, uneventful summer, if I remember correctly, because I can't remember anything going on. I played a lot of Smash, I hung out with people. It was just a relaxed summer. And I didn't run any tournaments. I think it's like when the Pig series was at its height. Roughly. Yeah? Yes, the Pig series was at its height. That's what I was doing most of the summer. We're doing that stuff. We played again. Pig in Tulsa. So I was in Tulsa during for that summer, so. Low Tier City 4 happened then. Or 3. 3, yeah. Low Tier City 3 happens next. And going into Low Tier City 3, I was like kind of big man on campus kind of situation. I organized a crew battle for Oklahoma to play like the B team for Dallas. We beat them. It was dope. Zale still owes me a bottle of alcohol of my choice. I find you, Zale. You owe me still. He's wanted to put $300 on it, and I probably should have taken it, but I didn't have $300 to put on it, so it's disappointing. But yeah. So we won. Cool stuff. I was on the mic a lot. And here's where the actual origin, like, big schism happened with me in the PM scene, was at this event. So what happened was, I was like, alright, well, I'm gonna be on the mic a lot, and Aftershock, I was like, well, a lot of my players are really confident, and I, like, talked up my guys, and I was like, well, they think they're gonna be really good, because Jordan, Dill, we're like, yeah, we're just gonna fuck up Dallas, dude. Like, we're so much better than we used to be. Like, they're not. I've seen them play. Like, we're gonna fuck them up, and they all got destroyed. They went 0-2. In the they qualified for a day 2 bracket thing. They qualified for top 16 because it was like a circuit event, and then they went 0-2 in the top 16. And they probably would have lost to a lot of people that got eliminated in the actual bracket. So it was just kind of like a wake-up call for me, and I was like, oh yeah, Oklahoma's still Oklahoma. I think Flaffy drowned in pools too. Yeah, he drowned in pools to like Lucario's or something, like to Mario Lucario. I don't know. He drowned. Like, yeah, just like a lot of stuff happened where I was like, Oklahoma's not that good. That's fine because like I like the scene, like the people are cool, but we're not that good. That's fine. Zeech like beat Mr. Brandendorf and then went 0-2 in the after pools, like, you know, like that was it. So I started making jokes. I was like, yeah, Oklahoma, we'll upset someone real big and screw up the rest of the bracket, and then just go 0-2 immediately after we screw up the bracket, which happened at Low Tier City 3. Stocks beat Odds right, in pools or something, or like round 1 of bracket, and then Odds went through a tear. Stocks went 0-2. Hona beat Strong Bad, and then Strong Bad ended up tearing through and beat like Jordan and some other people, made top 8, and then Hona got like 13th, and Dill got like 17th. Like, and then people wanted to like talk about how that was really good, like talk it up in Oklahoma, and I was like, dude, like that event maybe had like of like the really really good players in the world. It had like at the time like 6 of them, maybe more like 5 of them. Like it was definitely during a period of time where PM was kind of having to like was getting on a downturn because all the patches, because 3.6b was out and people were having to deal with that and we're not fans of it. So it was a mess and people were like upset and arguing all the time about like, you know, how valid PM was, because like they're just like, oh well, you know, PM's good, you guys should play it again. And everyone's just like, I don't like playing PM. Like, I like 3.02 or I like 3.5. I don't like these new patches. And then people got really salty and they're like quitting because the characters got nerfed and it was awkward. And so that whole weekend I was just kind of like, yeah, we're like decent. I never said that we're like super bad, but I'm like, we're not that great. We're like solid. And I get back, and what happens is I just get like super bitched out by like Irish and a couple other people in this like giant group chat that we were all in, and I did not take it well because I was already getting really sick of Irish's shit, and I was like being really immature about it, but like I didn't even formulate a good argument. I was just like mad. I was just like mad. I was seeing red. I was so mad, and I was like. Just like, you know what, fuck off. Because like Irish was mad because people stopped approaching him for stuff, and then people were talking to me instead. And he was like really getting mad about it because he's no longer a big man on campus, you know? Like I was just kind of like usurping the throne. And it wasn't even my intention. It was just like a natural, like naturally gonna happen because I was doing so much work and doing it better. So he was getting really pissy, and I was like, you know, like fuck off. And then like there was a whole thing because like some of the people in the chat agreed, like Hona backed me up, be like, dude, we're not good. It was cool, I got 13th, but it doesn't matter. I'm like, exactly. And then some people were like, no, we're fine. And I'm like, I don't want to like sit there and like be cocky or something and like have everyone be overconfident and then just watch them get shit on and look like an idiot. And it's like, that's never happened, as what people were telling me. Like, literally happened at Aftershock, and people were like denying they even said anything, and like, you guys are retarded, so. It was a huge bullshit thing. And then I was like, you know what, I'm fucking done with you guys. Whatever. So, it just kind of dropped it. So at that point, I really didn't really care about PM too much. I was like, I don't give a shit. And then Student Smash was starting back up, so I was doing that stuff. We started doing Student Smash monthlies. And Student Smash monthlies were like supposed to be super big, right? Cool. Well, we do the Super Smash monthly for PM, and no one shows. And it's just like, oh, that's cool. We had a couple of out-of-staters come. We had 8 people from Oklahoma come play. At the time, Jordan and Jonah were like 2 of the best players in our state, and they were like, no, we gotta go cat sit. I'm like, what do you mean you gotta go cat sit? They're like, yeah, we're cat sitting. And it was like they weren't actually giving a shit about the cats. They were doing this thing where someone asked them to cat sit, and they're like, cool, we have an apartment to ourselves, we're just gonna cook and watch movies and have the slumber party. And I was like, okay, like sure, whatever. If I was like, if you guys don't care about PM, why the fuck should I care about PM? Yeah, so I stopped caring at that point. They stopped caring, I stopped caring. That's just how it was gonna go down. My camera's fucked up, I think, right now. But yeah. Yeah, my camera's getting fucked up. Alright, I'll probably load back up. There we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, right. This camera's bad, so it's fine. This is gonna be fucking right. But yeah. So that's when I stopped caring about PM. Was probably that was like straight up the point. When the players didn't respect the work I was putting in, I stopped caring. Like there was no point in me trying. Melee and Smash 4 were growing. We finally had Smash 4 at starting that year because Irish moved the day of his weekly. That was like cool. So I had all that going for me. And then at the time Irish was working with Sunny's Game Lounge. So I went up there a couple times to see how it was going. And Sunny was not really too happy about all the things Irish was doing, because Irish was kind of being a pain with the whole money stuff, and he like tried to take more money than he was supposed to because he owed Sunny money from something. There was some weird stuff. Yeah. So there was a lot of like shit going on with that, and I was just kind of hanging out there talking to Sunny, and me and Sunny just kind of started talking. Me and Sunny are friends now, like, but we're like becoming friends. Like the guy's really cool. I love Sunny. Shoutouts to him. He was just kind of explaining to me all his problems he's having, and then I was like, all right, well, I mean, yeah. And he goes, what do I do? And I was like, I don't know. You can just get someone else to run it. And he goes, who would do that? And I was like, I mean, I would, if you really want me to. And he's like, all right, cool. So Sunny then essentially kicked out Irish and put me in charge. And then that was when I was planning on doing a Sunday Melee weekly, because Irish had to move his schedule of his weeklies around, so he was recombining them on Saturdays for Melee PM. Which I was like, okay, I guess, or someone else could run it. But back then, SCG basically had no one who was willing to do anything in it. So that was cool. So I was on the Team Crystal thing, which was this whole own thing of mess of just stuff happening. But I was on the Team Crystal thing, and we ended up getting the Sundays and ran Smash 4 and Melee, and we did that for a while. And I was running close to 3 events a week, because I was doing Sinner, I was doing Smash on Sundays at the lounge, and then I would sometimes have a Saturday event I would also run. So I was just running tons of events, and that's kind of when I started getting burned out, realizing that if I didn't quit, I was just gonna like quit Smash. So I was like, alright, cool, I'm leaving Team Crystal, is basically what I told them. And then there was like a lot of kind of bullshit reasons I was giving at the time, because I really didn't know what to say. I just really wanted out. And then looking back, one of the biggest reasons I left was a lot of the people on Team Crystal that were picked to be on there weren't doing anything and weren't actively trying to do anything. So it really left me and Major to do a lot of stuff, because at the time Jacob's channel was growing a ton. So he was spending all his time on his OG channel, which he should have, because clearly that was the best choice, because look at it now. Like, yeah, no, he made the right decision, and I don't hold anything against him for that. That was 100% the right choice. Just turned out the other people in the group just didn't want to do anything. They were just in it to be in it, and like didn't really have the drive to try new stuff. And then whenever I talked to him about this later on, they were like, yeah, I did. And I'm just like, okay, sure. You say so. No, you didn't. So it was like me, Major, and then like JD, and then like I left, and then Major and JD were running events. And they were also getting like, frustrated too eventually, and they were planning on leaving after Super Bit Wars 4, which I think Major ended up saying he was leaving, and then Jacob just dissolved Team Crystal, and then Major started running those tournaments. But when I left Team Crystal, Sonny even asked me if I wanted to. He goes, "Hey, if you want to just like run all the Smash things, and I'll just pay you, it's directly." And I was like, "Dang, that's a great deal," because that was a lot of money for me to have made. But I said no because I didn't want to cause more drama than I already had. Because the Team Crystal thing, there's already like a big thing with Irish and hella not liking it because we took the Sundays over, and he was essentially just being a giant bitch waffle the whole time. And I basically said I don't want to have to do with any of it. That was the point where I realized, you know what? I've been really nice about how I've been running events, but I could just I could just basically take over and then just be head TO, and no one would say anything because my events are better, and I proved it. I ran tons of events. Everyone loved my events. My events have only gotten better since. So there we go. I basically pushed Irish out of that position by just making more events than him. Having more events, having high quality events, doing new things, taking opportunities like, oh, he can't do Sundays anymore. Cool, they're mine now. Just being really aggressive with like how I was doing stuff. I stopped caring. There's like no need for etiquette. It was either take over and do stuff the right way, or just let the community never grow or never move forward. Yeah, thanks guys. So yeah, I actually created the ELO roughly around the system this time actually, which solved the seating issue. Because hey, a robot seats now. You can't be mad at people. You can be mad at a robot, but like, there's not a lot of good that'll do you, right? Sorry guys, I have to use my inhaler. My nose is all stuffed up. So yeah, that kind of went down that way. Team Bristol died out. SCG kind of died out. There wasn't really much going on for either. It was just kind of me and the events I ran. I ran Cruise 1 that January of 2016, which was right before I quit. I ran Cruise 2 also in like April. I ran just like Games Don't Die. I was just like trying to run events and have a good time and like enjoy my events. So like 2016 started up. Also, fun fact about Super Bit Wars 4. I left during the planning, but I said I'd still take care of registration. I didn't get paid for anything for any of that. Just in case anyone thought I did. So I ran all the registration, and then people kept thanking me throughout the entire event like I ran it, which I did not do. I hung out the whole weekend. I was there most of the time, but I did not run the event at all. So people kept thanking me, and I was like, this is awkward. So it's kind of 2016 happens. Super Wars happens. I leave Tomb Crystal. I'm running my own events. Like, my events have never been better. Then kind of that summer hits, and I have like some real life stuff that I have to deal with. I moved back to Tulsa, and in the summer, and things kind of changed a lot because of the landscape of the scene changed a lot. So we were like I was trying to figure out where everything kind of fit. In Tulsa, I tried to run my own weekly because I was like, I wasn't sure what to do if I didn't run a weekly. That was like reasonably successful, nothing great. I wasn't getting paid for it either, so I stopped doing that. And then I kind of helped with the Smash 4 stuff a lot, and I got really more into the Smash 4 scene than I'd ever been, which was cool. But I think that was kind of my point where I was like, well, I still ran things from behind the scenes, even though I wasn't in the Metro. And then it was weird for me to go to Tulsa and me not really like have a place in like Tulsa Melee as like a TO. And then like I tried to TO, and then like I was like, eh. And I didn't TO anymore, and that was kind of like, it was nice to kind of just be back to being a normal dude who just goes to events. And then late 2016 I started entering stuff again, which is cool. So now I just actually play and compete, which is nice. I don't compete as much as a lot of people. Like, I don't enter every week. I probably enter maybe about... If I enter a tournament, try to enter a tournament once a week, but most of them are like free tournaments. I enter probably paid tournaments maybe like twice a month at most. Just kind of like getting there. I like to play friendlies and like to like grind, and I'm seeing improvement. But it's kind of like the 2016 and 2017 was pretty normal after the Irish stuff. After he moved, it was pretty much one of those things where I stopped having to like constantly fight against people to get stuff done. And then I didn't really know what to do with myself. So I stopped having like, yeah, there wasn't any resistance anymore, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, so I wasn't sure if I wanted to run big events anymore for a while there. But people were asking me, because I was like the guy to talk to, I guess, and people were asking me to run events, and I was just like, I don't know. I was really confused on what to do. I tried my best, but, you know, I ended up just stopping and working on one big regional, like, but with completely different size of anything we've ever done. And that was Choose Your Character. And ever since No Man's Land. And then ever since, because I had like a bunch of big ideas and I'd keep bringing them back down. So No Man's Land happened in 2017. It was a few months ago. And that was kind of like the next time I ever actually had a real change. Because this entire section here is just me being in charge. And me getting bored, like consistently more and more bored because I didn't know what to do. I was like, alright, I'm in complete control. The fuck do I do with this? And I realized like I had an extra responsibility and I was like, this is awful. This is boring. So I kind of felt like I was doing Spanish, I had nothing else to do. And after No Man's Land, I realized that like I can start taking things to the next level. Because I can. Like, I now understand, like, I'm at, like, big TOs in 2016. I now understand, like, what I can do to improve tournaments and actually get people in. And I'm, like, way better at advertising events, and I have way more connections than I've ever had. And now there's not someone constantly in my way trying to, like, stop me from doing stuff, which makes things easier. So, it's just kind of now where I'm focusing on bigger events. Like, I still have a few things I want to run, but I'm really focused on trying to get more regionals, get us traveling, bring us together as a region, work on this whole Mid-South region idea more. That's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, there's like the Cliff Notes version. There's like a lot of fun stories I can tell, but I want this to be watchable. So, if any of you who are here want to hear a specific story, feel free to let me know. Oh, I think it went offline. Oh, I didn't. Alright, cool. My thing just was being weird. But yeah, so there you go. There's that stream you've all been waiting for like 2 months. Wasn't that great, was it? But it's done. I have about a half hour or more that I can talk, so I think I'm going to talk about some random shit that I've been thinking about our scene. So if you're watching for the history, there you go, it's gone. If you're watching for other stuff, tune in. Stay tuned. So I think recently one of my bigger things I've been looking at with this scene is okay, so there's like saltiness and salt levels and stuff like that, and I feel like we've had a lot of issues more recently, and something happened this weekend with like Disney and Ham Yojo, where Disney was talking to Mouth and Ham Yojo about how he doesn't feel like he hasn't been getting better, because he says that he's been consistently placing at where he should or below where he should, and he kept saying the word should, which I know a lot of people have heard me talk about how much I hate the word should. And then Ham Yojo, who is salty too, was like, no, if you placed that placing, you should have placed there. And they had like a little argument, and then Hamlet dropped it because he was like, I didn't want to deal with it anymore. But that, I agree with that logic. It is, you should, like, okay, saying should is stupid. Saying should is so stupid. Saying I should have won is the dumbest thing in the world, because if you should have won, you would have won. That is what should means. right? It is a bad word, in my opinion. It is a terrible word. It is not a word that even exists in a lot of languages because of how stupid of a word it is. You either do something or you don't. So there's no should. There's no I should have won. You lost. If you won, you would have won. You can say I could have won. That means there is potential. That's fine. You said I could have won because when you say I could have, it means you recognize you didn't, and then there's something that you could have done differently. When you say should, you act like you're entitled to that win, and it's stupid. Stop saying should. You don't. And you're going, I should have placed this because I was seeded this is also dumb because you can place that. It's what you are expected to do. Alright? You're expected to get there. However, that expectation doesn't account for things. It doesn't account for how fast other people have been growing. If you're consistently getting lower than where you're seated, it means people are growing as well, and they're getting what they're going to be getting. You get what you should get, or you get what you're going to get, right? Whatever you place is what you should place because that's where you are. That's where you got to. Thinking that the guy who's seated 2 spots below you outplacing you means that you're getting worse is wrong, or that you're not getting better is also wrong. It means they're getting better at a faster rate than you are. And people have tons of bursts and improvement. I've seen people improve so fast. Like, so fast. And suddenly plateau because they've improved so fast at the beginning that they're expecting to always do that. You don't know how fast you're going to improve. There's no way to tell it, there's no way to gauge it, there's no way to speed it up. You go at the rate you're going to go. And you can put effort into it to maintain it and go at that rate. Okay, maybe you might be able to make it go faster, but like, it's hard at a certain point to just suddenly try to grind something out in a day, you know? There's a point where you can't just force yourself to get better by just playing a ton. You have to take breaks more often, you have to think more, you have to maybe write some stuff down, you have to discuss it with people. There's like other ways to improve. And if someone catches up to where you are based on the fact that you're still in that, you're right outside the sweet spot of you can grind up to this point, then they just caught up, and it's time for you to take some time, figure out what you did wrong, and move forward there. But, I don't know. It is a good conversation that I wanted to bring up. Like, should is stupid. Stop saying should. Like, people are getting salty. Oh, okay, this is another thing I do want to talk about. So, yesterday, actually it was 2 days ago technically, I changed Dio's name on the Discord, because it said Thought Slayer Dio, and this has been brought up a lot on Twitter recently, from a lot of female members of the Smash community as a whole, about how stuff like that makes them kind of uncomfortable, and I think it's a little bit disrespectful, and it's one of those things where, just like, they just it doesn't make them want to come to stuff, because they feel like people treat them as a joke. And it's already hard because it's, you know, there's only so many more things they can relate to us on going in, I guess, is the way one girl explained it to me. Because like as guys, we have a lot of things we can relate to because we're, you know, the 2 people we're talking to, we're both guys, so we have just random stuff that has nothing to do with the game. For them, they have that, but it's harder for them to find, and they can't just default to it because they don't know. So they have to focus on the stuff in the game, and you know, there's just a stigma, and like there's a lot of issues, and that they have to deal with, and it makes them uncomfortable, and it makes it harder for them to want to come to stuff. So this is a big discussion I've been a part of for the last couple months now, and I've been talking with people, and I've been saying, you know, no, like I don't think Oklahoma's one of those scenes that's gonna do stupid shit like that. We're just gonna, like, we're respectful to everybody. We don't give a shit if you're, you know, a guy, a girl, if you're gay or straight. You know, we give you more shit for what character you play than literally anything else. So, yeah. So that was like a big thing. So I saw Dio's name. I finally noticed it because I really do not pay attention to a lot of stuff. So I saw Dio's name finally. I switched it to just Dio. And then he switched it back, and they made a post in Trash Talk about it. And he's like, who switched my name? Like, he was like, and like one of those memey angry faces. Like, I think he was messing around. So I responded, and then I was like, yeah, it's not really nice. You know, it makes girls not want to join the scene. It makes them uncomfortable too. Like, we should, you know, refrain from doing that. And then Dio's just like, whoa, there's only like one girl in here anyways, etc., etc. And then I was just kind of like, that doesn't really matter. Like, I get it, you're being a memer, but like, it's not worth the feelings of someone else for a shitty joke. And then Eris, who's a friend of Dr. Gigi's, who I've recently started talking to, she responded because she's in our Discord, and then it's like, hi, I'm a girl. And then Dio's like, oh. And then some others, I don't remember what else was said, but basically it came down to, Dio made a tweet a while ago where he's like, I want to make OK Melee great again once he started up his weekly. And then I was like, okay, well, yeah, that's a thing. And I brought this up to him another time, because another time I had a discussion, and I was like, if you want to make OK Melee great, you got to do specific things. So then in response to what he was saying, I was like, hey, if you really do want to make OK Melee great, you can't do stuff like this, you know? Like, you know, this is the kind of stuff that holds us back a little bit, especially because it's been a big deal recently, you know? If people see it, they're going to make a big deal because it's like flavor of the month discussion right now. Like, this is what everyone's talking about. So we don't need stuff like that. So yeah, and after that, I think some people memed on him a little bit, and then he left the Discord, and I think he hid his Twitter. So I don't know what's going on with that. That was not my intent, was to make him disappear. Yeah. So yeah, that was one of those things where, guys, it's a shitty meme, stop it. It's not worth, you know, doing. We are a bunch of, what's it? We're like a bunch of guys who won't want anyone to feel left out or feel like they're a joke. And I don't like the safe space idea or whatever, so I'm not gonna say that, but like, the Smash community is a place for people to just come have fun and goof around and not really worry about what's going on in their own life or having to deal with like random shit that's been going on with them. They just get to play a game and enjoy themselves and, you know, hang out with cool people. And that's how I used it for a really long time. And that's what I would like it to stay forever. So yeah, if like just cool it with stupid shit memes like that. It's not funny. It's never actually been funny. I know a lot of you guys are like 14, 15. You guys are probably not even watching this video right now because you're at school, but just it's not funny. It's not cool. It's not interesting. It's really obnoxious to all the people who are not 14 and 15. So yeah, like, drop the stupid memes like that. Like, you can meme all you want. Like, I don't really care overall, but there's like certain things that don't need to be like brought up, and like the whole thought thing is stupid. Because fun fact, the people who actually came up with that term actually don't give a shit about the women at all, or anyone really, and they, you know, beat the shit out of people. They don't give a fuck about anyone else in their life. And, you know, I get it's like, oh, haha, funny meme, but it really originally might represent something really stupid and awful. So, just drop it. It's not worth it. And as far as, like, the women respect meme, whatever. Like, you guys are memeing about something that's actually true, which is confusing, but you guys can have fun. Exactly. That's what I wanted to get at. Thank you, Spencer. Like, Smash isn't a safe space thingy, because like we're not just trying to like make people not be able to talk. We're just saying that like shitty jokes at the expense of just like people being comfortable isn't worth it. Like, if you have an actual problem with something, you're free to speak up and say whatever. I don't care if it's like you hate me for something. That's fine. Like, it's not like this is a perfect little world that I want. Don't want people like to touch. It's just like I don't really know where I was going with that. Basically, here, alright, short version. If I see you doing dumb shit that's gonna make us look bad overall as a whole, or just is probably gonna make someone uncomfortable, I'm gonna call you out on it. I'm gonna tell you to stop. And if you don't stop, I am going to kick you, or I'm gonna like mute you or something. Like, there you go. Like memes or whatever, but like actually, like if they're like bringing up something that's actually shitty, I'm gonna fucking kick you. But I just wanted people to know that, like, the whole Dio thing, Dio left on his own as far as I know, because I'm really confused. Also, the only time you've ever offended me, Newson, is whenever you refuse to play Gingy in bracket. Whenever you rage quit and then, like, dropped out of the bracket. That is the only time I have ever been offended. But that's a whole different story. Also, you guys should like change your Twitch accounts to reflect who the fuck you are. Because it's really confusing. Oh, speaking of trash talk, don't at, like, people in trash talk, please. Well, that's actually obnoxious. So, like, just don't at cities or people in trash talk. It's... People get way too triggered about that stuff, and I don't like having to deal with it afterwards. It's just not worth doing to begin with. So please don't. Yeah, exactly. I actually did that on my account, so that I don't have to make a new one. It was nice. Alright. That's fair, Spencer. I'm going to constantly forget who you are, so I apologize in advance for asking. I forgot quote, like, again. Even though I probably should have figured out it was quote, but I definitely forgot my quote. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them in chat and I'll answer them now if there's anything like actually pertinent to talk about. I think we're pretty much done. Oh yeah, they're dead state for monthlies, by the way, for those of you interested. We'd probably, what's the word? Oh, we should make some event pages. But we have those set. We just gotta make event pages so people don't forget. And they're based around Slast, because Slast will be going on there in summer, but on a kind of weird schedule with weird dates. Yeah, I don't think we have anything else to talk about, right? We done? We Gucci? That's true. We do need more people to sign up for Super Bit Wars. Thank you, Heath. When can you get your run back on me? We'll probably enter a bracket at the same time eventually. Probably at one of these Tulsa monthlies, actually, this summer. We need more people to sign up for Super Bit Wars, yes. Would I rather... Okay. One horse-sized duck. I think I have a better chance. 1v1ing. Yeah. Right now I think we got 50. Yeah, we have 15 for Melee and 17 for Wii U. That's not bad. I would like to get close to 40 in both of these. We have doubled the entrance since yesterday, so it's kind of getting the word out again. Helped. I'm sure there'll be last minute signups because there always are. It just sucks when there's a ton of last minute signups because then I have to just kind of seat everything at the event. We can't do pools, you know, because I don't know how people are going to be there, so we have to do like a large straight bracket. Because time constraints, because I have to spend so much time seating. So yeah, you know, those are the downsides there. You can just tell people to sign up, remind people to sign up. Is there an option to pay with cash? Not pre-regging. So if you pre-reg, you have to pay during pre-reg. If you don't, you have to sign up at the door, which is gonna double the venue fee from $10 to $20. So you don't want that. You're just gonna want to have to sign up online. Because having people pre-reg and then say pay cash in person is really frustrating. Because then people just don't show up because they have nothing invested. Like, there's a lot of things I'm fundamentally against as a TO. That's one of them. Free pre-registration is one I really do not like. Like, I hate free pre-registration because people don't give a shit. People just pre-reg and never show up, and it makes the TOs, like, have to double check if they're coming or something, and, like, it adds extra work to the TO. And then if there's a free pre-reg, you either get like a ton of people and then people don't show up and you have like a smaller turnout and you look stupid, or you don't get any people and then out-of-staters don't want to come. It's like optional pre-reg. I don't like optional pre-reg either. Because if you have like an optional pre-reg, for an event that you want to be big, then like people just don't fucking show because they go, how many people are going to this event? And they read like how many pre-regged and they'll be like 20. That's not worth my 4-hour drive. And then you get like 40 people, and then it was like, well, if those carpools from out of state came, we'd have like 50 people, so. Actually, yeah. Sig, it'll be fun. You worked on your deck for like forever last night, so it'll be interesting to see how that works out. Later, Newsom. Yeah, if in-state people just start signing up and pre-regging, it'll make it look a lot better, and then it'll be worth it. I don't know, Sebastian. I'd have to have money for it. I don't know. Maybe Friday or something. Short version, because I dominated most of the time that we were doing those. Like, I dominated the conversation most of the time when we were doing those. And then there were just situations where like, a lot of people just couldn't always show up at the same time, so I would stream by myself anyways, and there wasn't like stuff to actually discuss. So yeah, like I don't mind having people on here, but I think this is kind of the platform I'm moving towards. Is just this is my stream time, I guess. Yeah, and I might move it over to my personal channel and just kind of roll with this for a while and start playing some games and hanging out with people more often. Just talk about random Smash related stuff, I guess, or just life. If anyone wants just random life advice, I'm fine with that. I did that on Eric's stream before. Keelik, who are you? I really don't know. No, Sebastian, people have been trying to get me to play Forcible for years. I even, like, had cards and had a deck for a little bit and was like, no. Oh, Brett, right. Dude, Brett, yeah, I haven't seen you in anything in a while, but your thumb being hurt would make sense. I mean, yeah, but like, there's no one to play with, Sebastian. That's the actual problem. Like, if you spend that $30 and make the deck, it's just $30 wasted because you're not going to win any tournaments because there are no tournaments. Alright. If there's no more questions, I think I'm just going to end the stream. You gotta make a scene? That's a bad... That doesn't work that way, though. It's the best region in Oklahoma. It's Norman, always. The best region in Oklahoma is Norman. Now, if you want to ask me a different worded question, I might give you the answer you seek. But the best region is Norman, always. Always. Feel free to ask again in a different way, and maybe you'll get the answer you want. But the best region is Norman. Clearly. What is the best male region of Oklahoma given actual active players only? That is not the correct question. It's still Norman's and still the answer to that. If you're asking me which region has has the best players in it, then I'll give you the word Edmond. But yeah, every time you ask me what the best region is in any capacity, it's always gonna be Norman. But yeah, as far as like which region has the best players, Edmond has the best players. Like, it's not even a contest. Like, duh. You'd understand if you were from Norman, but you don't understand because you're not from Norman. Norman's the best. Because it's Norman. It's just, there's no reasoning. It's always, the answer is just Norman. The answer will always be Norman. That being said, yeah, the best players in Oklahoma are in Edmond. See, Sig gets it. But yeah, no. Edmond has the best players in it, but that's it. Like, they have like the most PR'd players, I think, too, or the most people who would be PR'd, even if they're not currently PR'd. It's just like, just how it is. Nah, dude. Norman's the best. You can ask Hazy. Hazy will tell you Norman's the best. Anyone who's ever lived in Norman will tell you Norman's the best. You can literally ask anyone who's ever lived in Norman, they'll give you the same answer. Norman #1, baby. Hell, Joe will probably even tell you Norman's the best. He hates Edmond. The city, not the actual people. Just the city. That is not an objective question. That is clearly a question of where you're asking for my opinion. I gave it my opinion. How would I give it an objective answer when you want my opinion, dude? You asked what the best was. You didn't say, like, you didn't specify anything. You just said the best. So clearly the answer is Norman. You should have been like, which city has the best players in Melee? I would have been like, oh, Edmund. Well, I ain't the best, like the strongest players. I'd be like, Edmund does. So you didn't. You asked a dumb question, and you got the right answer. Alright, peace, guys. What's the region with the most potential? Oh, like, okay, not even joking, Norman. Norman has so much potential, and I firmly believe that everyone in Norman's gonna get a lot better, especially with what everything's shaping up to be like for next year.